Now it's the new trend sweeping the ever-booming podcast industry, porn podcasts. So, have you ever listened to one? Not a podcast, but a porn podcast?
No.
No?
It's out of my range because when I was growing up, you know, your parents said, you know, save yourself for marriage. So there's no way porn was even in our vocabulary, really.
OK.
So all of this new thing with young people, it's a mystery to me.
OK.
Maybe I should watch it.
Well,
well,
podcasts you listen to.
Listen to?
Yes, you just listen to them. So
maybe I should I?
Well, today,
There's a man down
Gloria,
there
today's
saying
your
no.
lucky day because we're gonna play you something. So for those of you who, like Gloria, are about to lose your erotic podcast virginity, we're gonna hear. Oh, and you, Brenda. We're gonna hear the story of. You don't need your headphones
no
just
headphones.
yet.
Okay.
You're gonna hear the story of a freelance journalist who has a thing for coffee baristas. Could be you, Gloria.
You never know.
Have a listen.
I have a soft spot for baristas. When I can't focus on my deadlines, I'll build out some elaborate fantasy about the barista behind the counter. I think my fantasies are mostly fueled by caffeine. Except with Eli. He was different. I never felt like he was trying to be someone else. And that's how it felt when we had sex. We were always so present when we were with each other, especially in bed.
I just feel really weird because I've got an
If my
Americano
mother
in
knew
here.
that I was listening.
Well, what's a barista? Is that like a
Coffee maker.
cheese?
I tell you, if my mother knew that I was listening to porn of any kind, she'd turn over in her grave.
Well,
Particularly live on
you're
TV.
so far. That was quite steamy, I think.
Well, the next bit that we're going to listen to isn't actually suitable for lunchtime listening. So if everyone can pop on their headphones, and you guys are just going to have to try and imagine what we're listening to. OK, so here we go.
Oh, my goodness. That's tragic.
Oh, I don't like it.
And you thought...
Here we go.
Yeah, you thought the holding hands was bad.
I love that. Loved it.
You got quite
Wow.
excited there, Brenda.
Well, I didn't know where she was gonna go.
Yeah.
I think she went back to the coffee shop.
I had no idea there was porn podcasts, and I have a huge problem with the porn industry. I really, really do. If you think about when we were kids and you wanted to look something up, so you'd want to know penis, so you'd look it up in the dictionary and then you'd all laugh at what it said, or nipple, and you know you'd have a giggle. Now when young people want to find something out and they tap those words in, what comes up? Unimaginable. And bringing up, you know, two daughters and having the ongoing dialogue and having two stepdaughters and having heard about what it's like and how the porn industry is affecting them. And, you know, they so often say to me, you know, why, oh, God, you know, we will never be able to find something that takes us on a date, that does this, that does that. My daughter talks about how a lot of boys get really frightened about the porn that they see and the fact that it's often very violent. And I have to say to my girls, you don't have to do all... You know, that's not real life, you know, and they're looking... But it's really hard. Like, when I was a kid, it was Jackie Collins.
Yeah.
And I'd have it folded over at the bits I liked. I'd go back to it. I got an idea that you can be a woman and ask for what you want and what an orgasm was and all of this. And I don't know what the answer for that is.
Well, maybe it is the podcast like this.
Fantastic.
Do you mean, because the thing I feel about, not that I've watched any of it on the internet, but I know it's one of the biggest and most watched aspect on the internet. It sort of, for me, the worry is that it normalises extreme behaviour, that young people would think this is what you have to do in order to have good sex.
But
I know this normalises and teaches you it's about love and consent and everything. But what young people are seeing
that's why we need...
We were listening to the same thing, Gloria.
That's why we need...
You're doing the whole innocent thing, babe, but I know you're not.
That's why we need some kind of lashback to or backlash to the porn industry.
Would they listen to it?
But just hang on a second, Gloria, because the things that I think are really great here is that they talk about consent, they talk about safe sex, they go on a date, they have a kiss, they have all of these things.
They have a coffee.
Now, recent survey, one in 3 British women have suffered unwanted slapping, choking, gagging or spitting during sex. Now, if you're growing up and your experiences from a young child, and they're saying that children as young as 7 are seeing porn online and have accidentally found it when browsing the internet, 40% in the same survey agreed that watching porn made people less respectful of the opposite sex. And you know what? The other thing we've got to remember, that a lot of these porn films, these people, a lot of the women, have been trafficked and don't want to be in it. These are actors, and this is a lovely fact about this, they're in separate booths acting. They're not having sex.
What, in the podcast?
In this podcast. They're actors in 2 separate booths acting out the story.
But my devil's advocate question is, though, is the thing that if you endorse the fact that porn is the most watched thing on the internet...
I don't endorse it.
Yeah, well...
But you agree that it is.
But here's the point. If they're used to that, would they actually sit down? Would your children sit down and listen to this?
Well, I would certainly, I think, to have an option, I think that young people are looking for something else and are frightened by what they're seeing and what they're finding out when they go out dating. And I think, because I know a lot of people have knocked this and said we don't need any porn, but I think they're missing the point, is that we're offering something, these people are offering something else.
Sorry.
No, well, what I was going to say is obviously we have you know, a house full of teenagers, as do you, Nadia, and so obviously it is something that we've brought up and we've spoken about. And I absolutely corroborate everything that you're saying, in that I think a lot of teenagers are really uncomfortable because, you know, we've had discussions in the friendship groups that this has come back to us, that, you know, choking and hitting is seen as something that is either expected of by the boys, or the girls have watched things online and think that's how boys are supposed to behave towards them. So trying to and it is reassuring teenagers that actually sex is something that is supposed to be loving, it's supposed to be beautiful and something that's enjoyed. It's not supposed to be something that's aggressive. And of course,
the thing is, though, it's not only though young people, because a girl I know very well, she discovered she'd be lying up in bed and she'd wonder, why is my husband not coming up? Why is he on the computer all the time? Anyway, cutting the story short, she discovered he was having cyber sex. And so he was down, he spent thousands of pounds on thousands of her savings, by the way, which was for her children's fees. And he was caught out at work doing cyber sex and was almost sacked. So it's not just young people. I mean, it's just, I think it's a terrible era in a way for all of that.
Sad.
But anyway, she did throw him out.
It is very sad,